Cool. Well, appreciate y'all for being here. This is one of the biggest like stress relievers for me in our game. I really enjoy Canva as a whole. I like making people things, and then I love how our kingdom, when you make awards for people at kingdom level, you can go up and give it to them and see the joy on their face. There's nothing better than seeing how happy people can get when you make awards. So digital awards is something that a lot of people are intimidated by. But my goal for this class is to just show, just give a 101 on how to get into it. A little bit of background on me. So I'm Saint Godric. I've been playing for roughly almost 15 years now. I'm a Serpent Knight through Master Dragon, which is funny because I am not an artistic person at all. My craft that I do, which is mainly woven belts, just happened in that kingdom to be dragon. So I can't draw to save my life. But digital awards like Canva and some other things have been super helpful for that. I'm also a Flame Knight through Master Smith for teaching classes. So super excited to have you guys here. During this, please, please, please feel free to stop me, ask questions. I'm going to be going through, if you don't have my screen share pulled up, go ahead and do that. But if I do something and I don't explain it and you have a question on it, please feel free, stop me, and we'll go through and take our time and work through it. So Canva, there's two options that you can do. The free version, which is really, really good and will do most of the things that you need. And there is a paid version. I think it's like $12 a month or something. I'm using the paid version tonight because I use this for work all the time. So there might be a couple of features that I use that aren't available on the free, but I'm not 100% sure there. I have, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're good,
Is
man.
there a perpetual license for that rather than monthly if you want to go for the pro?
I think there's a yearly, like you get a discount if you buy it a year at a time. But I don't think there is a like pay it once and then you have it forever.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Yep. I have access through work for the Adobe suite as well. And I've used that, and a lot of the principles that we'll talk about tonight will transfer to that or any other editing program that you use. But the more I've used Canva, the more that I have found myself just coming back to Canva 90% of the time, 95% of the time. Even though I have access to the programs that, professional level programs, Canva is just so easy and it's so intuitive and it's so fast on the things that I want it to do that I use it over the other ones quite a bit. So what I want to do to start with is show you some examples of the things I've made in Canva, and then talk a little bit about design theory before we get in to actually designing. So this is my Dragon Masters page on Facebook. Here are just some examples. So I'll start with this. This is a non-traditional Canva award. So what I did here is I made this award in Canva. It's two layers. There's the text layer and the Winner's Edge snowflake layer. And then what I did is I took those files and I fed them to a Cricut auto cut machine and then put them on, this is a shadow box. And so even though like you can do digital awards, which is what we're going to mainly be doing tonight, but I wanted to show that you can do things like this. In Canva, you can also take photos and make outlines for glass etching as well. You can do some really cool things. Do I have another? Yeah, here's another glass etched one that I made using Canva as well. And all of these assets are free assets, which I'll show you where to get. Before I get too far into this, though, the one thing you can use anything on Canva for awards that we make and hand out. Once you are using Canva, everything in there license to use. The thing is, if you're going to enter them into ANS contests, you can just make sure that you cite where you're getting your assets from. You can say, I got this in Canva. There's another one over here called Vector Easy, which I'll show you a little bit more in depth later. You can absolutely use these things in things that you plan to enter for ANS, just make sure that you cite your source so people know where you're getting them. So then coming back down here, this one is a master hood that I made. I like this one quite a bit because think I just like the colors. But then you can see the faded Winter's Edge heraldry in the background. I'll show you how to do that tonight. I think that's a really, really nice touch for awards, as well as the making like Master Rose and King Teflon larger and dark more. The points of emphasis, you can make them larger on your scroll to make them stand out. That's a tip that I do on almost all of my awards here. Something that I don't like, and I know most of these have a ton of text, the more I have made awards, the more I have come to like less and less words on them. I think sometimes with a lot of words, you just get a lot of like it gets cluttered a whole lot. And so we'll talk a little bit about placement and things as we go. Most of these ones that I make in Canva are like this one here. This is just printed out on a normal printer paper that you have at your house. You can make all of this and just save it as a PDF, print out the PDF, put it in a frame, and you are good to go. Some of these other ones, though, like this one, made this in Canva. I sent this off to my local Staples, and they printed this. It's actually on a piece of canvas. This was a 12-inch by 12-inch, and I want to say that was like $8 or $10 maybe. Like it's not terribly expensive to send it off. So if you're doing something really special or fancy, you can get something printed on canvas like that. Or like this. This one's pretty large. This one is 24 inches by 36 inches. And this one, again, I sent off to Staples and they printed it. I think it was like 12 or $15. So depending on what you're doing, you've got quite a few options on how to print it. So any questions on any of that before I move forward on printing, on other ways to use Canva, anything like that? Cool. So moving on, we'll go over here. This is another one that I made. This is 24 by 36 as well. You can see the text here is different based on the things you want to pull emphasis to. Good little trick. Also put personal heraldry in the background, faded that one. Liked that. I think that's a pretty good way to do it there. Some other cool things that I just wanted to show you for what you can make in Canva that aren't necessarily awards but are useful tools. Whenever I make battle games that are going to go up on a kingdom level, I try and make rules and graphics that I can send out to people. So here is an example of one, and all of this is fairly easy. Everything in Canva can just move around pretty easily, type, and everything else. So you can make things like this for your park and for kingdom, make battle game stuff. I've made a family tree for my belt line. You can make stuff like that in Canva. You can also, I use this as mock-ups for garb. So this was a friend of mine, his fighting company. I just made a tunic and put some triangles in, and then some different designs that you can do for that. So you can do all sorts of really, really cool stuff with Canva. Let me X out of this and we can jump in. All right. So where we are going to begin today is when you log into Canva. Over here in the top left, there is a create button. From here, if you know what you want to create, you can type in, like presentation, and it will pull up templates and stuff that you can use. For the purposes of tonight, I'm going to go down here to custom size, and we're going to do 8.5 by 11, which is normal printer paper sized. It will open up into another window here, and then this is where we are going to be doing the majority of our editing. So over here on the left is where all of your different tools are. The design up here, Canva has a ton of templates that you can use. So like, right, you can just type in summer and like say you like this one and you want to use this as the base of your template. you click on it, and then it throws it in there. And then now you have the background of your template. You can add text, you can do whatever you need to there. To get rid of something that you've put in, just click and drag, highlight all of the things, and then hit delete, and it will get rid of it. You can go back over here to your design and do all sorts of stuff. I wonder if they have anything. Yeah, right. So like this one, I probably wouldn't do for an award necessarily, but like if you're trying to make something for your park, right? You just type in, you double click on the text, and then you can go in maybe. I see what it's doing. So like, you can put park name here and right. You can make all sorts of cool stuff there. But for our purposes, we're going to start with a blank canvas here. One of the things, probably the main thing that I love about Canva, this right here on the left is called elements. When you click on this, these are all sorts of different things that Canva has built in that you can use included in your, like whether you're on the free or the paid, you can use these, post these, do whatever you want with them. So like if I click here and I go sword, so there are graphics that I can use. And so I can like pull the graphic over here and just like anything else that we're used to in PowerPoint or whatever, right? You can rotate it, you can do whatever. They have photos, which you can see so like these are useful. Say like something like this one here is already a pre-made photo, could be a pretty cool background for an award. So if I come over here, I make it larger, center it, extend it out, right? That could be a cool base to start an award. Everything that is in here in the elements, you are good to use for whatever you want. Really, really helpful. The next one that you're going to use quite a bit is your text tab here. Very similar. I have a lot of things going on here. You don't got to worry about that. Cool thing is, if you pick a font that you like for me, I have my Around the Fire, which is my YouTube channel. When I click on this and select my brand kit, it saves all my colors and it saves all my fonts in here. So if you are going to be doing this a lot and you find, you load in your park logo, park colors, everything else, it will save all of that, which saves quite a bit of time. But if we want to add in text, just click on title here. And then just like any Word document that you've ever done, right? Oh, it doesn't fit. And then you can, spread it out, move it to where you need it to go. And then all the things that you can edit with it are up here at the top. So if you want to change the font size, it's up here, the font type. One of the ones that's really useful is this one right here for spacing. If you want to make the letters closer together, further apart, you can do that there. So when you have something selected, all your editing tools are going to be up here at the top. Then the last real thing that you need to know before we get into it is down here under uploads. This is where if you need to upload any assets of your own, photos of yourself, photos of the person, anything like that, right? Like here's one of me here, right? So this is by Obscura. Say I wanted to use this in the photo for the award for whatever reason, you can upload files here, and then all of your stuff will be used here. And there's some really cool things we can do with this as we get into it. One of the main ones that most people use is this button right here. It's called the background remover. When you click on that, it will take a second and it will pull out the background. So then you can use this, highlight this, do all sorts of stuff, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But anything that you want to add into Canva that Canva doesn't already have is right over here on this Uploads tab. So again, the main things you'll use, your design if you want to use a template, elements if you're looking for anything that Canva has, text if you want to add text in, and uploads if you're going to be uploading anything that you want. Any questions about any of that before we jump into an example?
So when it comes to uploads, will it just work with any file format, which is your typical picture image?
Yeah, for the most part, you can get into some weird, like the web files or some like over here on Vector Easy, most PNGs, JPEGs, vectors will come in just fine. But if you get into some more like obscure things, then it won't. But most photos you'll be just fine with.
Gotcha. I was just kind of curious. What you could do is if you have a different, you're making your own art, and then
Hmm.
just save it as some. I was wondering if it had like a very restrict, like PNG, JPEG, you would
No,
expect, but you know,
yeah, it's all the normal ones, and then even some like you can in this. We're not going to be doing this for awards, but like you can make videos and movies on this. So you can upload audio files, video files,
sure,
transition file. I mean, it'll take quite a few different file types.
cool.
Yeah, super helpful. All right. So what I want to do, we're gonna do depending on yeah, we're doing good on time. I'm gonna take at least one, hopefully two or three examples, and we're just gonna make some awards together. So generally, how this works, there is a Scribble Guild that you can join. It's the Winner's Edge Scribble Guild. Laryl can get you hooked up with that if you are not already a part of it. And what you do is every rain, they will put out some feelers. Hey, are you interested in taking an award for this event? You go in. Sometimes there's a Google form. Sometimes you just message whoever's in charge of it for the rain. They will then give you an assignment. And in this assignment, generally you'll get a name and you'll get the award that you're going to make. Sometimes you'll get a little bit more. You'll get reason for why is this person getting the award. A lot of times you don't. A lot of times you don't. It's just, hey, here's the name. They're getting their eighth dragon. Will you make the award? So what I want to do is I want to get a name from one of you all. Think of someone in your park, in your beltline, in your fighting company. Kingdom level award, 8, 9, 10, maybe a nobility title. Ideally, someone that I am not super familiar with. So I can show you the whole process as if I don't know this person at all. So someone throw out a name for me and I'll look. Just theoretical. Who are we making an award for today?
Syrup,
Okay, what park?
Radiant Valley.
Okay, which. So if you're not familiar with the orc, this is where I always start. You probably are familiar with the orc if you're playing Amp Radiant Valley. And then I'm going to go to active players. And what was the name?
Syrup.
Okay. Um, right here. Awesome. Okay. So when I'm in the orc here, sometimes people will have their heraldry uploaded. Sometimes they will have an image of themselves uploaded as well as the awards here. So what award are we going to make for Syrup today?
Let's just do a jovial or something.
A jovial? Awesome.
Yeah.
We can do a jovial. All right. So we go back here to Canva. So let's add in some text here just so I can remember the names because I am my weakest point on all of this is I am a terrible, terrible speller. And so I double check and triple check everything just to make sure. SYRU. Okay. Oh, come on. All right. Out of RV, do we know in a fighting company, a part of any households, anything like that we know of?
He is still fairly new, but he's not in any house as far as I know.
Cool. A lot of people aren't. Some people are. Some people are a part of a fighting company, but it's not a huge part of their identity or whatever. If they are, these are things that you can include in all of in all of the stuff that you're doing for your research here. Do you know, does this person have a Facebook with LARPing photos on it?
I do know that Obscura has made a few pictures of him, but yeah, she's got everybody, so that wouldn't narrow it down.
We don't have to use photos in this, but sometimes it's cool if you do. So that's
Yeah.
not that's and then we're doing a Jovius. Cool. All right. So what I would generally do at this point, I would go in and I would look at the orc. I would see if there's any heraldry. There's not in this case. This person is a new player. It looks newer player, so they probably don't have a wiki page, but it is always good to look. Come on now. Of course, the wiki is going to be slow as we're okay. Yep. So nothing here. I'll show you mine just so. Always check the wiki, and if you don't have a wiki, make one. They're awesome. They're super easy too. So like for me on here, it's got all, you can put whatever titles you want. I've put this on here too. Preferred title for scrolls, St. Godric Grey, Dragon of the North. People will put that on here because some people have like 50,000 titles, and you don't need to put all that on the award unless they want you to. Picture of me, as well as my personal heraldry, as well as the groups that I'm a part of, as well as my parks, awards, everything else. And so generally what people put on their wiki are the things that they're most proud of, which are very useful for you making an award if you're trying to make this for someone in particular. Something, especially when you're higher level awards, right? Your 9th, 10th, Masterhood, Knighting Scrolls, Nobility Scrolls, that becomes really, really helpful. So what I would do, I know that this RAD, what is it? Is it INT? Yeah, Valley. I know that this person is from Radiant Valley. You're killing me. Your heraldry isn't uploaded. Let's go back. Is it uploaded here? Perfect. So I'm just going to save this image. Probably too small to use, but we'll see when we get in there. One of the cool things that Canva can do, so what I'm going to do, from the org, I downloaded the parks heraldry because I don't know this person too much and there's not a ton of info there on them through the wiki, the org. So my go-to is to go on their park because that's the bit of info that I know about them. So I'm going to go over here to uploads. I'm going to upload that file that I just downloaded. Where did it go? Ignore all the cute pictures of my baby. Did it not? I know. Did it not save? Downloads. Yeah, it's a JPEG. Should have been fine. There we go. Okay, cool. So it takes a moment to load in, which is what it's doing here. And then we can just click on it and it jumps over here. One of the cool things I really like about Canva is if you see up here, it will color match whatever is in the photo for you. So if I want the background to be black, but theoretically I want the text that I'm going to do for whatever reason to be this purple or to be this gray, it will color match stuff, which is super, super helpful. So what we could do if we want to, I don't like that. So my original thought was if we blow this up real big and make this the centerpiece of the award. I don't like that because the file here is pretty pixelated and granular, which is you'll get sometimes. Parks, park heraldry, especially something like Radiant Valley that's 20 years old, aren't going to necessarily have great image quality, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do, Jovius is what? That's for like being super helpful, right? I forget what that one's for.
That one is for just being a pure joy and somebody.
Joy?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, as far as I understand it, actually, I could send you over a file really quick, which is the vector files for Radiant Valley Herald.
That would be fantastic.
All right, I'll throw it in the chat.
Thanks. So what you can do over here under elements, I just search joy, right? If I'm making a dragon, right, you can do the same thing. Search for dragon, do whatever. But for Jovius, we're looking for joy. None of these really fit our aesthetic, and I don't want something corny. Okay. So my next go-to, I don't like any of those. That's not going to work. So maybe let's look at castles. Castles make really good backgrounds for stuff. This one's not bad. I'm going to throw it over here, keep it there for a second, see if there's another one that I like better. Ooh, this one's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that one. I like that. Could be cool. Let's keep scrolling and look here. So what I'm looking for is a backdrop. Generally, something darker is good for a backdrop, just because it makes the text pop a little bit better. But this one isn't fitting the vibe of Jovius very well, I don't feel, because it's more like doom and gloom. So we're gonna get rid of it. I like this one. So this photo here is almost like a map, almost kind of looks like, medievally and scrolly. So what I'm doing, just like on any, PowerPoint or anything, you can maneuver and make the file larger. So I think something like that covers all of the background there. You could also do something like this if you wanted to do a map, right? Something like this would work very well. Same type of thing, even like that. In my opinion, you never really want a just like a blank white background most of the time. I just don't like it as much. Where did you send that file to?
I put it in this stream's chat, and it's actual straight download link. So scary, but it's if you'd prefer, I can just say it. Yeah.
Nah, it's all good. I just didn't see it. Continue to download. Give me 1 second.
It's vector files, and I think I also threw some things.
It says I don't have permission to view the file.
Well, I'll just give
no worries. So yeah, if you just want to throw a copy in there, because it'll work for this.
Yeah, I bet you I could get it even easier for you. I probably have the files. I just have the zip on stream if I can find it on my computer really quick, because I was the guy which made the files.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I went over here to text. I know I like this font. This is Brookshire. Gonna just make it a little larger and kind of throw it up here. I know this person's name is Syrup. It probably doesn't need to be that large. And then I'm gonna play around with color. Sometimes different colors work better. I think a white would look better on this because the background is a little darker. So I'll probably end up going with white for most of it. Something that I like doing. So in the general font of your award, I like to use one text. And then for the person's name in the award type, I like to use a different text. It just differentiates it a little bit and shows some difference there. So I'm going to hit Control C, which is copy, and Control V, which just makes another one of these, and that copies all of, if I had made the size or anything like that, it copied it over. Order of the Jovius. So this is did I spell it wrong? No, okay. A little bit too large, so I'm going to click on it, and then up here I can decrease the font size until it fits. I think that looks good. So as I'm moving the text up and down, you can see the little purple line here. That tells me if it is centered, and then there will also sometimes be a horizontal one as well. That will show you if you're moving things left and right, if things are centered or not. Cool. Let me now see if it will let me upload that. Awesome. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So it did let me upload whatever that. So when I load it in now, you can see here that it is smack dab in the middle. You can move it up and down underneath of things. If, say, I don't want it like this, but if I did, if I wanted the heraldry to be on top of the text here and it's not currently. Up here, there is a positions button. And when you click on that, you can just very quickly here move things forward and backward if you want to. Or you can click on layers and it will show you all of the things. And you can just click and drag what do you want to be on top versus not. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take the heraldry and I'm going to make it much larger. And I'm going to center it in the middle for now. And then what I'm going to do is up here, there is this little transparency button. I'm going to click on that, and currently it's at 100%. If you bring it all the way down to 0, it disappears entirely. I want it to be visible, but I don't want it to be a distraction, which it might be a distraction with this background. So I'm going to get rid of the background just by clicking on it and deleting it. And then I'm going to go over here to another one of these maps, click on it, move it over, center some things up. And then you're like, oh no, that heraldry went away. It's because the image that we just put in went on top of it. So I'm going to go up here to position. I'm going to click on it and move it down below heraldry. And now the heraldry shows back up. I'm going to click on it, go back to the transparency, and I'm going to make it just a little bit lighter. Something like that. So now this award feels relatively custom because it's not just the normal printout template. It's also got the person's park heraldry. You could throw kingdom heraldry in here, anything like that. So now we need the wording that we're going to use. This, if you have scrolls that you've already been given, you can just copy that wording if you want to. I generally like less words on the page. I just think it's cleaner. But there's a tool here, which I will throw into the chat that you can bookmark. This is a random award verbiage generator by, I think, Alona. Two Trees made this years and years and years ago. And so if you need help with any of the wording, you can just randomize and it'll give you a bunch of stuff. And then it just gives you a bunch of fill in the blanks here. So you can just copy and paste that directly over. I am going to make my own because I don't want that many words on there. I've got two types of font that I can use here, I guess. We'll do this one and just see how it looks. So I'm going to make it all even, get it to say what I want, and then I'll come back in and change the colors and play around with everything. A hint for you, each line of text, do a separate text box, so that way it is easier to adjust later, rather than like syrup is being granted their 7th whatever, right? Because now if I went to move this is all one big chunk of text and it's harder to manage compared to if each line is individual. It just makes it easier to update. So I'm going to go ahead and start typing my text here. Feel free, everybody who, I know a couple of people joined, if you have any questions about what we're doing in Canva here, stop me. Please feel free to ask. If I'm going too fast on stuff and you want to see me do something else, just let me know. Text-wise, I'm going to say something like, all rise for a joyous, is that joyous? No, it is not. For a joyous celebration today on the 11th of July in the year, I'm breaking my rule here by not doing it line by line, aren't I? Oh well. Year 2025, comma. So there's going to be my first bit of text. I'm going to copy paste that and then change it. The kingdom of Winter's Edge does see fit to award. And then this is where syrup will go. Copy paste. The prestigious award of. Then we'll put Order of the Jovius. We'll copy paste one more time, come down here, and we'll put by the hand of who's your park monarch right now?
That's
That
Vidalia.
would be Vidalia.
Sir Vidalia. All right. So these are the elements that I want in this award. Now it is about arranging them and making them look pretty and even. I'm gonna change the text of the main fonts by clicking up here on text color. And then I am going to color match right here on the purple from the company's or from the park's heraldry to see how that looks. I might not keep that, but it works all right. Okay. And then I'm going to change the 2 focal points, which is the person's name and the name of the award, to the silver from, I don't like, well, we'll play with it. We'll play with it. So something that you can do that's a really neat tool here. It can be overdone, so don't use it every time, but I like it a lot. I'm going to click on the font, and up here there is an effects tab. Click on that. And then over here there is an outline effect. I'm going to click on it, and you can see it put an outline there. I'm going to go in, I'm going to change it to this purple, and drop the thickness down to like 30. That looks okay. Yeah, I don't mind that. And then I'm going to go and do the same thing down here. Click on effects, click outline, change it to the purple, and put it on 30. Okay. So now I want Jovius to be a little bigger, but not quite that big. That'll work. And then I'm going to move some stuff down so it all fits nice and clean. Now what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm looking at all of the text to see if any of the text is too long. Because like I wouldn't want the Kingdom of Winter's Edge does see fit to award all on one line because it just looks bad. So like I could come in here and just put another enter in if I wanted to. I think how it was looked fine. So we'll leave it like that. Then once you're happy with how it looks, if you click on Shift and click on all of your items, it will select all of them at once. And then I'm going to click up here on this position button, and then where it says arrange, you can click center, and it will make sure that everything that you have is lined up together. And then I'm looking for these. I went to point at my screen so you could see my screen, but there's that pink vertical and horizontal line in the middle lets me know that all of the things that I have selected are centered. And so when I take my select off of everything, that is a fairly good park level award that took 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You can play around a little bit more here. I'm going to click on the back of the heraldry. Maybe I want it a little bit bigger. Zoom out, look at that. I don't like that. I think that looks the best. Another option that I'll show you that of what you can do if you bring everything up a little bit more here. Scrunch stuff up and then make some room here. You can take the heraldry that you have and then make it fully transparent. So now it's back in bold. Make it smaller. Like put it like down here. Let's see. I think I have Winter's Edge stuff already uploaded. Yeah, the progress, I had already deleted everything on my end before the internet died. so the award is gone. But essentially, what I did was an easy way to show off the heraldry of both. Like you can put it down here, put your park heraldry, your kingdom heraldry, make sure that they're the same size, and then have all your text up above and below those like normal. Um, did you guys hear my rant on Monarch signing awards?
I don't think so.
Okay, so this one is purely me and my opinion. So take it with that grain of salt right there. Um, I never leave room for monarchs to or whoever is assigning the award to sign on the awards that I make, whether they're digital or whether they are physical. I hate when people will spend, 10 hours drawing and making you something beautiful or on digital stuff. And all the font is calligraphy and it's beautiful and it's perfect. And then some homeboy comes up with a Sharpie and then just like markers over like this masterpiece and signs their name at the bottom. Um, so for me, I never leave room or like a line for the people to sign it. But what I encourage them to do is if they want to sign it, your monarch, regent, whatever, they can flip it over and sign it on the back. Just because it, in my opinion, coming in with a pen or coming in with a Sharpie ruins an otherwise just beautiful and thematic piece, if that makes sense.
Imagine if you know that that person is quite the calligrapher, it possibly could be good, but that's very open up in the air to just a Sharpie.
Yeah, let me see if I can do this real quick. I'll send you a picture of one of my master hoods real quick. I'll see if I can load it from my phone into the Discord here. There we go. Chat. And okay. So it should be loading. You can see this is my master dragon. Let me know when you guys get it. It should just be in the chat for this channel.
Okay, yep.
So if you're ever giving awards, don't do that. Right? Don't have the entire thing being calligraphied out and then come in and just sign next to it in a Sharpie. It ruins the aesthetic for the whole thing, in my opinion. Okay. So for this next one, I am going to theoretically make an award a Master Dragon for Balto, who is a friend of mine in my park in my Beltline. So I know quite a bit about him. So this will show you a little bit more in depth. That first one was if you're trying to make some for park level or you're just trying to like pump a bunch of them out for something. But this is going to be what I'm going to do next is going to be more in depth. So what I need is I'm going to go up here to, I'm going to close out of this, go back to the one that we're going to start with. I'm going to create. I'm going to go custom size. I'm going to change this to inches. And I want 24 inches by 36 inches, which I know at my local Staples, this is the size of the posters that they make. And so this, is it 28? I actually think it is. I think it's 28. We'll do 28 by 36. That sounds more correct. All right. So what I know about Balto, let me pull up some text here. So I have Balto Gray. He's we're going to make him a Master Dragon. Let me do this. I know that his park is RV. I know his fighting company is Kingmakers. And I know that a big part of Balto's identity and what he like just loves is his pride stuff. And so this right here is a good place to start. I don't know if he has a wiki or not. We can do it just for the practice. Come on. Oh, looks like he might. So yeah, so he doesn't have a whole lot here, but you got a picture of him, heraldry, and then just the belt line. So not a ton to go off of, but still useful. Always go check. All right, so this is what I know. I guess what I should check is to see if they have any nobility titles. If they're like, if you go to the orc and it's just Balto Gray, which it is, I don't got to worry about putting anything else there. But like down here, Obscura Unloved is Marquise. I would want to put Marquise in that title because that's what they had chosen in the orc. So if they don't have something listed on the wiki, going by what they have their name in the orc is a good rule of thumb. I wouldn't put syrup, WERV, right? That's just an identifier for orc, so don't do that. But like, just a good like Bubbles the Burninator. I would put that in there. That's fun. All right. So first thing that I would do here is I would go up here to designs, and I'm going to type in dragon because that's what we're playing with. To see if there are any that strike my fancy. This one's cool. If I knew this person had a Eastern persona, something like that could be cool. I would shy away from it though because I don't speak or read what Japanese, so I would be very hesitant to use language that I'm not familiar with. So I wouldn't use this one. But cool artwork. I can actually just delete. Yeah, so that would be fine. I'd be okay with that.
Just a quick note about that. You can
Mm-hmm.
actually go to Google Translate, and there's actually
Mm,
now an image translator. So
that's
you
super
just
helpful.
you can just upload the image in there, and it will do very robotic translation. But that's a way how you can kind of get a gist of what stuff is in an image now.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Something like this would be cool. I have a friend of mine who has a samurai persona, and when he got his warlord, right, something like this could have been cool too. Again, this is free. You can use any of the stuff that is in here. Um, if you're not finding what you want in Canva, excuse me, there is a website called Vector Easy, VECTEEZY. And from here, you can search for different things. And what you'll want to do when you get in here is under license type over here, just click on free license. And then anything that is used off of this site, you are able to use for free without attestation. Again, the only caveat is if you're going to enter anything into ANS and you're pulling assets off of the internet, make sure that you list that. Just so everyone is clear, you don't want to get called for plagiarism. That's kind of cool. So any of these could work, right? You could pull any of these. If I really wanted to, the easy one, I did see one over here that looked really cool. Under photos. Oh wait, I guess I was under design, wasn't I? Something like this would be a really cool award, right? By itself, you could just, this is a pre-made template. You can come in here and just, I like that a lot. That's cool, but that doesn't help you all in image in designs, so we're not going to use it, but you could. That would be a very good one. So what I'm going to do, say I don't like any of the templates, the overall complete designs. I'm going to go down here to elements, and I am going to search dragon as well. So when you're in here, there are kind of a few different things. They separate them out by graphics, which are generally going to be simpler things that if that's the look that you're going for, or solid colors, you can then come in and change these to whatever color you want. cool. If you go under photos, and obviously it's a dragon, so there aren't going to be real photos, but like if you have a sword or whatever, it's going to be the real one. So what I am thinking for this design that I have in my head, none of these are really going to work too well. Something like this might. Okay. So I'm going, if this is the dragon that I want, theoretically, I can copy it, which is Control C is a shortcut. Control V makes another one. And then I can come up here, flip it, right? And you can do something like that and do some cool stuff with it. My idea for this award is going to be something that is either left side heavy or going to be symmetrical, going up and down, left and right, with the text in the middle. It's just the idea that I have going into this, can change it. But let's see if there's anything here in Canva already that would work well with that. None of these could be cool. Yeah, that's what we're doing. All right. So, I don't know if any of you are familiar with like the Book of Kells. This is an ancient manuscript, biblical manuscript, but just this is from Ireland, and couldn't tell you when, but just beautiful. And in a lot of ancient manuscripts, they would have the first letter of each. I guess this is the key row, but the first letter would be very large in the top left of the page, something like this, and then you would go in and do all of the script. So this has me thinking we could do something similar like that. Now, this isn't colorful, which means we have to add in some color elsewhere, which we can do. I do wish it was colorful, though. If you're a fan of AI, you could just feed this into AI and let it color it for you. But that's not the point of this tutorial today. Do we want to do that? We'll play around with it. So, could throw the text up here. Gonna make it a little larger. Text could go something like this. From there to like here. Okay. So now for Masterhood scrolls, I generally will add or higher end scrolls like your 8, 9, 10 Masterhood nobility titles. I will put more words on these because I know that I'm going to print this out into a larger thing, and so the text doesn't cramp it up quite as much. So I could say after, this is all top ahead here, so you could get way more fancy with this. Years of tireless work. After untold nights, untold sleepless nights, pursuing, did I spell that wrong? Excellence in his craft, the kingdom of Winter's Edge does hereby elevate, or not elevate because it's not not a knighthood, does hereby award the most deserving Vault of Grey with the title of Master Dragon. Okay. Something like this could work great for what you're doing. I think it should be a little larger. But then when you do that, you see how some of the words kind of get funky. This is where you need to go back in and backspace, make sure all of the text lines up well. So that way, because you don't want those large gaps in there, that just doesn't look good. We still probably could go larger than this. Something like that could be cool, right? So that already is starting to look like one of the starts of the book here. So then we could go back over here to elements and look for another dragon motif. It's kind of cool. Again, I'm just brainstorming on any of this. So if you guys have any ideas, feel free. Feel free to speak up if you have ideas on what could be cool. Yeah, see, I like this idea better already, right? So again, something might hit you. We're gonna scrap that. I like this way better. I think this could be really cool.
You were saying you wanted it colorful,
Mm-hmm.
and you also were saying that they were big on pride. What you could do is
Mm-hmm.
possibly have the dragon's line art be rainbowy if you know how to do masking. Have you ever messed with that?
I have, but Canva doesn't do masking very well.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just wondering
but
if you could show how you do that in this. But
mm-hmm.
yeah.
What we can do potentially, do a rainbow background. I don't want it blurry. Maybe something like that. And then what we can do is make sure that the position, we could do something like that. If we get, as we get closer, once we get closer to the end, we can finalize some of that. But we can very easily do that. Or we could make the text rainbowy. We could, there are some other options of that. Do we want the dragon to be white on a rainbow background? No, we do not. What about like any of these? No, I think
So
black looks the best.
when you were first looking for the dragon image,
Mhm.
I had seen one that looked like the dragon itself was rainbow. I I think it was on the left I know it was on the left side,
Mhm.
but it kinda jumped out and then you went beyond it and I'm like, "Oh, okay." But that could be would that be a good idea?
Yeah, for sure. So we know elements about the person's personality and what they like. The rainbow doesn't have to be in, right? But we know that that's a big part of this person's of Alto. So if I want rainbow in there, the dragon could be rainbow, the background could be rainbow, the text could be rainbow. Most of the time when I'm making awards, I will do 6 or 7 different designs and just and then pick which one I like best, right? Like I was going with the whole medieval book. And then this dragon, I really like how it takes up the whole side here. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the rainbow background yet, but we'll get there. I did see the rainbow wings, which we could do something with if we wanted to.
Yeah, I really like that dragon.
I do too. I think it's awesome. Here we go. We're going to make a whole award around that. Um,
I really like the dragon when it was over a background. Like
Mhm.
it's really cool line art to have just overlaying some sort of subtle background.
Yep, I agree. And I will. So I will probably, I'm going to work on the text first and get the text lined up where I want it. And then when I'm done with that, I'll come back in and play around with the background and hit the perfect background. So what we could do on the text is if we made it thinner, we could put it up here and have it run down the whole column, like run down the whole left side. I don't know if I like that layout. I think it could be cooler to have Kingdom Heraldry, Park Heraldry, or Company Heraldry, something like that up here. So what I'm doing now is I'm going in and on my text, just trying to line it up to where where it makes the most sense, right? So after the comma, I just hit enter and sent it down a line. Before that, it was like something like that, which is fine. I just think it's more aesthetically pleasing to send it down. Probably want a space there. Just hereby award the most deserving. I want Balto. gray to be on its own separate line. I probably want Master Dragon on its own line. That looks okay. And then what I want, I'm going to go up here. This one's nitpicky, but if this were a Masterhood scroll, this is what I would be nitpicking. On spacing, I'm going to decrease the spacing in between the lines. Just because it was a little bit. I didn't like it quite as much. These look like are they the same? Okay. So, after many years of tireless work and after untold sleepless nights pursuing excellence in his craft, the Kingdom of Winter's Edge does hereby award the most deserving Balto Grey with the title of Master Dragon by the hand of what did Ink Tank take? Is she Dame? Is she Sir? Sir, thanks. Something like that. Now, that doesn't quite fit, so I can make it a little smaller. On this day, comma, the 11th of July in the year 2025. All right, so if that is the text we want, which I might need to get rid of some of these. Nope, I don't like that, so we're going to go back out. So the text I like, and I'm good with the wording. It doesn't fit here, and I don't particularly want to make it much smaller because I think it's pretty difficult to read. So now this is when I would start coming in and looking at other text options. So if you come in over here on Canva, if you click on the text and then click up here on the font, they have a ton of preloaded ones in here. It also has the ability, you can see uploaded fonts. There's a website called DaFonts, DaFonts, that you can download fonts for free. So if there's a particular one that you're looking for or a look and feel that this just doesn't fit, you can upload your own fonts in here as well. That looks cool. Nah, still a little, not quite what I want.
Do you have some favorite fonts, which is just off the top of your head?
So the ones that I use the most are this one right here. Oh, come on. Which, yeah, the EFCO Brookshire. I also like this one right here, Ancatoria. I don't know how to pronounce it. One of the ones, if you don't want quite as scripty of a font that I like, is it Anton? Yeah, Anton. This is the one that I use for a lot of my YouTube titles and like for my thumbnails and stuff. I think that one's really readable, but it doesn't feel super medievally. Those are good. One of the things that's cool that I like about Canva though is if you go to, come on, highlight everything, click on font. It has some categories here, handwriting, corporate, display, that you can click on, and it will give you just examples of that. But you can also type, like this one here is calligraphy. I don't like calligraphy that much. I think it's hard to read on most calligraphies. Like, no one can read that. So calligraphy, I generally tend to shy away from and leave that for the actual, I joke, when I say actual artist, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I don't view myself as a big artist doing the digital stuff like this. So when I say like actual artist, I mean like the people who can draw, because I can't at all.
No, there is definitely a small case of legibility versus fancy, and sometimes
Yeah.
it just get a little bit too flowery.
I agree 100%. Now something like that looks sharp. Like that doesn't look too bad.
Mm.
That's readable, and it's not, Times New Roman. It's not a font that people see all the time. I would not use, I wonder if it's even in here. Is it Papyrus? That's the one that was in like Word all the time that people use for anything medieval for a decade that I just don't like. Is it in here? No, it's not. Okay, cool. You don't even got to worry about it.
there was a Saturday Night Live skit which was all on Papyrus and Ryan Gosling having a mental breakdown on how Avatar used it. Got away with it.
Yeah. Cool. So I like that font. This font is called Codex. If I really liked it, you can go in and save it on here on your fonts. Under edit, you can change all that out, which is cool. But now what I would want is up here, this is a good space to add in personal heraldry. So I'm going to go here to my uploads. I'm going to add here. I can never spell heraldry. I'm going to look for, never mind. I don't have a good file of Winter's Edge. Do I? I don't think I do. We'll background remove it and see what it does. Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't want to use that. All right. So because I know I could hunt and search and find better heraldry. I don't care enough about it right now. So I'm going to just add in this one. This is the Nine Blades heraldry. Substitute it. Picture in your mind that it is the Winter's Edge heraldry. So put that up there. And then I know that he is in the Kingmakers Fighting Company. So I could, if I wanted to, put something, I don't like that shape. I would need to go in and edit that. We'll do this one. This will work. So this is a version of the Kingmakers heraldry. It's also part of a former park that I know Balto was a part of. So what I'm doing now is I'm going in and trying to make these roughly the same size. Something like that could be cool. If I select both of them and click on position up here, I can make sure that they're centered with each other. And then a useful tool, if I know that I want these to be here, I can group them together. And now what that does is if I click on one, I can move both of them together at the same time. If I make one bigger, it makes the other one bigger as well. So that's a pretty useful tool when you're going and changing things around. Some artists that I've seen will make the Kingdom heraldry larger than the personal heraldry. Play around with that. They don't have to be the same size. I like them to be. All right. So now we can go back to backgrounds. So we could do rainbow under photo. So I don't think I'm going to like that, but we'll leave it just in case. I'm not a fan. Could be kind of cool. Nope, too dark. If you guys see any over here you want me to plop in and give it a shot, I'm up for it. Could do something more pastel. Probably going to be too dark still. Yeah. Something that we could do, though, on the background here, I could play around with the transparency. If I find one that I like, something like that, maybe. See if there's anything else. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. Make sure my internet didn't go out again.
We can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you.
All good.
I'm paranoid about that now. I'm not the biggest fan of this, but we can work with it for now. Okay. So we could call it done, something like that. I don't know if that is enough of what I'm thinking. Oh, wow. Cool. So now if I don't find anything over here, you could always go back over to Vector Easy, type in rainbow background. See if anything pops up here. Make sure that we're still in the free license. Something like that could be cool. Sometimes it'll ask you if you want to create an account. Just click no, and it'll start the download anyway. You just got to wait 5 seconds. Then let's pull the JPEG over. Paste. Now, because I am bringing in a file from outside of Canva, I have to upload it into the uploads over here on the left. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in, but I want to rotate it. I think having the rainbow on the side of the dragon could be pretty cool. Something like that. Then drop it back. Yeah, I like that. Change the transparency down just a hair. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the heraldries over here. For this moment, I need to ungroup them because I'm going to add an effect to them that'll make them pop out a little bit. I'm going to click up here on Edit. And then over here on Effects, there's a bunch of them. I'm going to click on Shadows because this is, I know what I want here. So you can play around. You can do a hard outline if you want. That actually doesn't look terrible. But what I want to do is drop. And what drop does is it adds that little shadow on the edges right here, which just makes it pop a little bit more. You can change the intensity of it if you want it to be like a hard line, which I kind of do. And then I'm going to click on the other one, go in and do the same thing. Increase the intensity of it. And so now those just stand out a little bit more versus the background. Okay. So other things we could do. We could call this done. We could, let me show you this. Another option. Sometimes I've done this. It works in certain designs. Putting the scroll right, like on underneath the wording to make it look like, to make the text stand out. I don't think I want that in this design, but that's another way that you can do it. And then like drop the transparency of it a little bit. Right, you could do something like that to make it stand out a little bit more. I don't know if we need that or not. What do you guys think? Does it need anything else? Is it too cluttered?
My only thing is just making the person who's getting the award and then the award, it's a little bit more pronounced in the writing.
Fair. So we can do that. We can do that a couple of ways. We could go in and just straight make that font bigger than the others if we wanted to. Something like that. What's font size supposed to be? What was it? 60. Of course, it's got to be a decimal. 63.7. We could also go in and change the color. So like if we wanted it to be probably like this blue, that's hard to read. Green would make sense because it is a master dragon, but that's more difficult to read as well. So a couple of other options on what we can do. We could go in and make Balto Gray something completely different, make it a little larger. We'll put it at 100 just to play around. And then Master Dragon, make that 100. Right, we could do something like that. Make it just a little tad smaller. Something like that could work. I don't like this giant gap right here, but it's Yeah, that's a little better. I can't. I gotta be picky. This is what I would do if it were real, so I'll show you guys. I would go in and I would make Balto Gray and Master Dragon separate layers, so it's a little bit easier to maneuver. Um, 1 second here. So each line that I'm playing with here is its own separate text box. So we will be able to maneuver them each independently of each other, which is what we're trying to do. Just because I didn't like the way that that looked. Then last one. Okay. So essentially, it's all the same that it was. It's just these ones are different text boxes. So we can line them up a little bit better. Okay. So we could do something like that. Those aren't even. What I'm doing here is I'm just getting rid of some of the fluff on the edges of the text just because that makes it a little bit easier. Then we'll highlight everything, go to position and center it. What do you think of that? I think something like that could work.
Yeah, I'm liking that a lot better.
And then another tool that you can use is to go in and change this color. I don't like that much because the font, the colors that are already in the picture already are pretty light. But what we could do, we can play around with it. Under effects, under outline, we could give it a green outline because I don't like that. Because it is a Master Dragon, which is going to be green. Could change that to white. Nope, don't like that. Could change it to like this blue. Don't like that. So I think the black font is probably still the way to go. But you could do outlines and do some other.
What about black outlines with changing the font to green or whatever you're wanting to go for?
We could try it. Effects, outline black, font color, the green. I don't think that looks terrible, but I think that the normal, just the normal font looks better.
I
What about
agree.
what about if it's that blue? The blue looks better though. Effects. I still think the normal text probably looks better.
Yeah.
So something you'll learn when you're doing these, you'll make 50 different changes and all of it is good. You can always, up here, there's an undo button or the shortcut is Control Z and you can just go right back to where you were. You'll make a billion changes throughout this whole thing. So what I would do now, well, I guess anybody else have any thoughts on this before we move on and send it to the printer, as it were? Like it, dislike it, what would you change? Think it needs more, think it needs less?
So my only thoughts on it is I'm not a total fan of the color. I like the I think I liked the other background better, but I do like the way it kind of flows with the dragon
Mm-hmm.
on this. Would there be a way you could take, say, the previous background color you had and alter it some to flow with the dragon more?
Potentially. So something Let's see, what color do we want? Or which one do we want? So the colors on this one are vertical. So if we did something like this, and that's a little too... Well, I'll show you how to do it. So when you do it, you come over here, and so it is going to be vertical like this. I'm going to send this to the back, so that way the dragon's on top of it. Change the transparency of it. Well, I guess the other one's still showing through, isn't it? But I don't want to delete it.
Well, I don't want you to change the whole thing just for me, but
it's all good.
Okay.
It's just part of it. Okay. So when you come back over here, so we could do something like that, but it has a little bit more of a hard edge on it.
Yeah.
So I wonder if under edit, if there's anything we could do. There it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do, sorry, I need to say this out loud. Under the effects, there is a tool here called blur. So I'm going to go in here on blur and see what it looks like if I just blurred the edge over here at, do a larger intensity. See what that looks like.
Oh, yeah. I actually am a fan of that. I like that. Yep. And you could make it an arc shaped also. And so you could kind of, I do like that.
So what I'm going to try and do, I copy pasted. Oh, why is it not on the position? So now I technically have, I should have two. Yeah, I do have two rainbows here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep one of them not blurred at all. And then the other one is slightly blurred. And let's pull them down here. And hopefully that will do. It's not lined up well, but oh geez, it copied everything. All right, so if you guys look over here, bottom right, it double copied all of my text. Don't know why it did that. I must have copied something incorrectly. So I'm just going to go up here, Control Z, undo, and now we're back to kind of where we were. So don't worry about making mistakes on stuff like that. Anything you do is fixable. You can undo it all.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you showed that this is what it did, and look, you can fix it. I like that.
Something else that I just did that was helpful, I got my dragon where I wanted it, and there's this little lock button up here, and I clicked on that, so now the dragon won't move anymore. So that way I can play around with it, and I can alter the background here a little bit without having to worry about the dragon itself. Why did it lock my whole page though? Lock cannot be edited. Unlock. There we go. Okay. So let me put the dragon back up here. Okay. So now something else that we could do is I unlocked the page. Come on now. So we could do something like this. Very similar to what we just did. Make it a little less transparent and send it all the way to the background. And so you could play around. The hard part is with this one, because the dragon curves up, if we kept the background as a hard, sharp edge, it would look funny.
So my thought was when you were doing the blur, like you were doing the blur tool,
Mhm.
if you had it like have the whole thing the one color and then went in and blurred just kind of about where the dragon is, that was kind of
Oh wait, hold on. So let's do.
yeah, something like that. That
You can give it a shot, see what it looks like. Then move homeboy back where he needs to be.
yeah, I kind of like that better. I kind of like that better.
Cool. Either way, and like you guys, like I said, you guys have tons of resources here. You can play around for as long as you want. Generally, what I'll do at this point, if I get it to where I think it's done, I sleep on it, and then I come back the next day and I play around with it a little bit more. Just to see if I want to change anything. I might look away from the screen, and when I come back, the text bothers me, whatever it is. When you get to where you feel you are happy with it, up here in the top right, there is a share button. You can click on this, and then right here under, you can print it with Canva if you want. I generally don't. I just take my file to my local store, Staples, and it's better. Download, and then from here, you can change whatever file type that your local printer needs. If you're just printing it at home, if it's a smaller 8.5 by 11, just print it out as PDF print, and you can print it, and it just prints like normal. Most of your like industrial printers will want something else, and it can kind of change. I generally will do a PDF, a PNG, and a JPEG, and just send them all three and let them pick which one works best for them. Print it out. Generally, they'll do it same day or next day. Take it, go to your Hobby Lobby or your Michaels or whatever, and get a frame, and you are done. Go for it. Did I hear somebody?
I'm sorry, that was me.
No, no
I'm
worries. I
fixing
thought there
some-
were. Cool. So we went through a basic, more park level award. And I guess one thing I'll show you one other thing before we go. Under elements, something that a lot of people that you can do that can add some cool stuff here. If you go to like smoke, I click smoke here, right? That right there doesn't look that great. But if I come in and I background remove it, I don't like that. If I make sure that it is, yeah, right? You could come in and play around, and you can add smoke in behind things to make stuff look cool. You can add in, I'm trying to think of what are some other things like that you could do lens flare, something like this. We're going to background remove it. We're going to make it a little less transparent, and we're going theoretically, right? I wouldn't do this right here, but you can put the lens flare right on the dragon's eye if you wanted to. Like they've got some different things that you can go in and add that actually doesn't look terrible. So you can add smoke, and you can do different things to add distinction, I guess might be the word. I don't like the smoke. I wouldn't put the smoke in here. We got rid of the background. But so just some other fun options that you could do there. So before we close out, does anybody have any questions or want me to go through something else again? I'm an open book, so feel free if you guys have any questions. Love to hear them.
Hey, I've got one. Oh,
Go for it.
okay. When you were doing like the drop shadow on the heraldry,
Uh-huh.
you had to go through on each one and set the individual drop shadows. Is there a way to like just take that same effect that you did for one and apply it to both without having to individually do it for each one?
To my knowledge, you can do that for text because you can paste all of the settings for text over, but
Right.
I don't think it does it for images.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I haven't played around with it too terribly much. No, it doesn't. Okay, so up here to get into the drop shadow, it's under the edit button under shadows here. When I select both of them, the edit option goes away. So
Okay.
it will only let me edit one image at a time, but it will let you just copy paste settings for text. So, good question.
Okay, I got another question. I'm full of them tonight, Godric.
Go for it.
So the drop shadow looks really cool on the emblems on that.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming, and this is just me assuming, and you know what that is, that if you did that on the dragon itself, that it would just mess it up completely.
It would on that one because
Yeah.
it's an illustration and not like a photo. So like what I did real quick here, just for an example, this is Balto. So I brought in here. I'll show you all again. Sorry, I went too fast there. I clicked on Balto here. So this is the photo. Up here is the background remover, which will remove the background. And then from here, I could flip the photo. So he's looking the other direction because I think that looks better. Make him a little bigger. And then from like here, you can go in and do drop shadows on people as well. And it gives, you can see it gives a little bit of distinction away from the backdrop. Glow kind of does the same thing. I generally stick with drop, increase the intensity if you want it to be a little bit more, or outline is I don't like it on people as much, but you can. But like if I were going to do a photo, something like that, I think would look good.
No, that was absolutely what, and it's a perfect example. I appreciate that because it gives it depth. It gives it the yes, I really like that.
So this is another example of pulling someone out. I have an event at the next or a class at the next event, and when I pulled myself out, you can go in here and it's already pulled the background out, and I have a shadow here, and you can see it just barely because it fits in with the smoke. But if I removed it, it's fine. But I like adding the drop shadows to things. Here's white if you wanted white. Right? Just because I think it makes your people in particular pop off of darker backgrounds really, really well. So there's another example of people for you. Good question. Let's go back. I can actually show you. We can apply a drop shadow to that dragon and see what it does. Here's a different dragon, but same concept. He's kind of cool. Edit, shadow, drop. So that's what it looks like. It doesn't look terrible. The main thing you have to worry about when you're using drop shadows on images that are flat on one end, right? Like up here, because it curves, everything looks fine. But down here, like if I wanted the dragon like up here and just left it, then this line is a hard cutoff, and that doesn't look very good. So just be aware of that and make sure that you're, at the bottom of the page or whatever for where he needs to be. Heck, something like that would even be cool.
I had a quick question for you.
Go for it.
So like me personally, I am not super interested in using Canva for scrolls, but I use Paint to like put together how my scroll is going to be designed, and then I do it by hand.
Oh, cool.
And so one of the things that I use in Paint when I'm printing is being able to print across multiple sheets of paper. Does Canva allow you to do that?
I am not sure, actually. I've never played around with it. I don't know. Let me download this real quick and we can see, because this technically is a larger file than what should be able to be PDF'd.
Yeah, because
Downloading.
I'll design something meant to be, 20 by 20, but at my house I've only got a normal printer, and so I'll print it to that size, and then I'll tape all my pieces together. And Canva looks like it would help me organize things a little bit better.
It looks like, so this image size is 28 by 36, and it is looking like it would still print 8.5 by 12, or 8.5 by 11. So it doesn't look like it. That would be something that I would want to just throw into a YouTube search to see if someone else has done it. But I don't think so off the top of my head.
Honestly, what I may do is just print to PDF, shove the PDF into Paint, and then print from there.
Yeah. Something important, real quick too. This frustrates me so much sometimes. When you go to, so say theoretically we didn't have the background and we wanted to just do this right here. If I go and I save this and I download it as PNG or JPEG, but PNG, without this transparent background checked, it will count the background as white, and will print a white background. Generally, that is okay. But say, like for me, if I need this file to go and I'm taking it into Paint, or for me, like if I take it into Illustrator, if I need it to be a transparent background that I need to take into another program to do something else with, you want to make sure that you save it here as a transparent background, or the background will just be white, if that makes sense. Yep. Cool. Any other questions for us as we wrap up here?
I may have missed this at the beginning. Are you using a paid version or is this the free version?
I have the paid version, but I think the only thing that I used that was paid for this video was the background remover. I think everything else that I
Okay.
used was free. I want to show you guys something else. Bonus take here. See if I can find it. I do all my ANS write-ups in Canva as well. See if I can find one. You get to see all my work projects as well. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So if you really, really want to up your game for ANS entries, you can do it in Canva as well. I've got this is one of the last tournaments I entered. But just 2 quick photos, my write-up, quick points if they're looking at it, all of this. And I just do this in Canva and then print it out. Super, super easy. I have another fancier one somewhere. Is it this? No, it's not that. Anyway, you can do your ANS write-ups in Canva, and it's a pretty helpful tool as well for that. There's all sorts of fun Amp Guard related stuff that I use Canva for. I do all my thumbnails for my YouTube channel in here. I use it for. I made a presentation of the rules for my, like, not rules, but like procedure and history for my fighting company is in Canva. I've made books in Canva, all sorts of stuff. Like it's an awesome tool.